ended up having a bondage party, like 2 nights out of the 3 hours there. People coming in my room. It was the weirdest, crazy thing.
Wait, you had the bondage party? Hey, what's up? I am back here in Bangkok. I'm happy to be back here, but man, I just had the best 2 weeks in the Philippines. It's been so long since I've been able to travel like that, and I enjoyed every moment of it. So I am definitely happy to be back here. I love this city, you know, I miss it when I'm away. And it feels like it's such a long time since I've been here. It's about 6 weeks since I last left here. I didn't plan on going for as long as I did, but it just feels so good to be back. So I don't have too much on today. I need to exchange some money. I've still got some Philippine pesos from my trip that I need to exchange back into Thai baht or into Thai baht. Then I want to get some lunch. Dying to have some Thai food, some Thai street food. It's been too long. And then I got to catch up with Dan. Alright, I'm rich. If you saw the state I was in when I left the Philippines, this is my video from me being in quarantine. I was a drunken mess when I left, so I didn't exchange money, I didn't do anything. I was lucky to make the plane, really. So being in Manila just reminded me how much I really enjoy solo travel. I mean, it's been so long we haven't been able to travel anyway, and now that travel's starting to resume, it's really exciting. You know, I've got some other trips coming up. I want to visit Vietnam and Cambodia, Laos as well, because they're all super close to here, so it's really easy to get there. But I honestly think when you travel by yourself, you just have the best experiences. So I've been to the Philippines a bunch of times, stayed in Manila I think 5 or 6 times, and I've met so many great people there, I met great friends. And this time when I went obviously by myself, and I met all new people again, so I've made even more friends there. It just seems like every time I go anywhere in the world, every time I go and travel alone, you just have the best experiences. I find that when you travel with friends, not only are you more limited by the other people that you travel with, but also you're less approachable as a person. I find walking around the streets by myself, people just come and talk to me, or they're much more open to interacting with you. And I think when you meet local people or you meet new people, this is when you have the best experiences traveling. One of the things I've missed about Thailand is the street food, so I've come to my trusty Soy Zero street food. They see me already.
Okay.
How are you?
Thank you for your YouTube, yeah? Thank you.
No, you're welcome. So Dan and I made a video in this place. The gentleman's just saying, he said many people have come after watching the video of us cooking here.
And I do good food for him.
Yeah? Good. Oh, it's always good food.
Yeah.
Always good food. What do I want? People give me shit for eating pad krapao all the time, but honestly I love it, and I love this place. I always come here. Soy Zero street food place, and I haven't had it for like, God, I guess 6 weeks now. I wanted to try it. I wanted to have it one day when I was in Australia, and I was at a Thai restaurant. It was $25 for a pad krapao at that Thai restaurant in Sydney. And I'd be lucky to be paying $2 for this. Oh yeah, I miss that. That is so good.
They're free for you.
Really?
For YouTube. Good YouTube.
Oh, did you hear that? That is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Oh man, great food, lovely people. So I've made a ton of videos there. I eat there all the time, but I made a video where I cooked food for Dan. It was a really fun video, and they said, like, after putting out the videos and showing where the place was, they've had so many people come and have lunch there. So they gave me that lunch for free. They were just so happy that I've been making the videos. They kept thanking me the whole time. So everyone that's been there and eaten there, thank you. So my first solo travel experience was by complete accident. It actually ended up being like one of the best weeks of my life. So I was in South Korea and I was with a mate, an Australian friend. He was an Australian friend that was living in a different country, and we used to travel together. So I met him in South Korea, and it was my first time in Korea. And Korea is quite an overwhelming country. You know, they don't speak English much there at all. It's really difficult to get by. And it's very different to anywhere else that I'd traveled previously. So we've been there maybe 2 days and we're having just the best time. I was really enjoying it there. And then he suddenly got called back on a work emergency and he had to leave the country basically the next day and head back to where he was living. So at that point I was like, oh shit, now I'm stuck here by myself. And I was thinking, you know, do I stay here? Do I go somewhere else? So I decided to stay. And it ended up being the best decision I could have possibly made. So prior to him leaving, we'd actually been taking taxis everywhere, and the first day after he left, I thought, oh, I'll have a try at taking the subway. So I went down and I took the subway by myself for the first time, and that was a cool experience, and I really enjoyed I had this sense of achievement in figuring out, because the subway system there is absolutely insane. And then later that night, I decided to go out drinking. So it's weird, and it can be intimidating to go out to a bar by yourself for the first time. You know, you don't know if you're gonna just like walk into a bar and awkwardly be by yourself and everyone else is like mingling with all their friends and everything. So a great tip to do is find a bar that has a pool table or dartboards or like some games or something you can do, because then people will just come up to you at a pool table. You can write your name on the list and you'll be next up, and then you've automatically got someone to talk to. Anyway, so I went into this bar by myself and started drinking, and within seconds of me being at the bar drinking by myself, a guy came up to me and he had a chat to me, and he was asking me where I was from and what I was doing in Korea, and he's like invited me over to join him and his friends at their table, and I was chatting with them and they were all lovely. And in that time while I was chatting with them, different ones are like, hey, come hang out with us on Tuesday and come do this on Thursday. And then later in the night I was meeting other people, and before I knew it, the whole rest of my trip was pretty much booked up from just this one night of me being in a bar. I ended up making friends on that trip. This was years and years and years ago now. I ended up making friends on that trip that I'm still friends with today. When I lived in Korea, we became, you know, we reunited and became like proper friends, and it's been such a good experience. To think that I almost missed out on this experience because I was hesitant to go out that night, and it just completely changed my whole outlook on travel. So here back, finally catching up with Dan. Dan's done tons of solo traveling as well, so I thought he might have some cool stories to share.
Because I'm such a loner. Don't have any friends.
You got me.
Solo traveling is by far the only way to travel, at least Thailand, I think, probably Southeast Asia. I heard someone once say solo traveler stood for like single or lonely old man or something. They're the only people that solo travel, and I don't think that's true at all. This is the only way. For example, the first time I ever came to Thailand, I stayed near Khao San Road. I stayed in a $1 a night hostel, a haunted ex-brothel hostel that I just booked because it was $1. There were no windows in there. It was like red lights everywhere, graffiti. Ended up having a bondage party, like 2 nights out of the 3 hours there. People coming in my room. It was the weirdest, crazy thing.
Wait, you had the bondage party?
No, I was invited to, I was asleep and they like walked in full bondage gear and woke me up, and I was like, hey, the bed was a roll mat, you know, like a workout mat. That was the bed. There's just a fan. It was like a crazy weird place, like The Beach, the movie The Beach. It was just like that, creepy, weird. And I couldn't have gone to that place if I'd come here either with someone else who like dictates what you do, or a girlfriend or something.
Your girlfriend would not like that.
She would not have allowed me to stay there. She would not have stayed there. And then you meet people in the hostel, the hotel, whatever. Got taken out of Khao San Road. I went missing. Got driven back by the police. It was a real good first day. But none of that stuff and those memories that I keep forever probably would have happened if I'd had friends already come with me, that you do the same things you do with your friends or your girlfriends. You go around to the same places, you come back at a certain time, all do it together.
Taxis everywhere.
Yeah, you lose the adventure. In solo travel, it's just more adventure. I think that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
You can this is Thailand, right? You can always meet people if you want to. You won't be solo traveling for long if you want to. But it's also the best place and way to get adventure, I think.
Yeah, that's right. And I was just saying, you know, the first time you go to a bar is really weird when you go to a bar by yourself, but like other people are doing it as well.
Yeah,
and
exactly
everyone
that.
just seems to gravitate towards each other.
Even when I was in Pattayas at like the Pattaya Beer Garden, which is out on like the seafront, and I'd go in there, and in like the UK, I'm sure in Australia too, when you're like alone, it's weird to go to a bar alone. People look at you like, what the hell is, but it's full of like guys, and I am talking to some guy from like Vegas, smoking cigars with him, go to like the club together, like it's full of people just wanting to like chat shit, and then you never see them again.
Yeah.
Like
friends for a day, yeah.
Friends
Single
for a day.
serving friends.
Exactly, single serving friends. Good Fight Club reference that. Like.
Yeah.
And then gone. You never see them again, and you keep the memory forever. Solo travel basically means more adventure.
Alright, man.
Love that guy. Yeah, very good. We're getting rowdy here. We've got bikes cranked up. This is fucking awesome.